me you're back. You're tired of getting interrupted. I don't blame you. I am too. It's so crazy when you get on the call with these people, all of a sudden, they keep talking over you. Keep talking over, and you're like, wait a minute, hold on. I'm trying to tell you something here. So let me help you with that. I feel like one of the fastest ways when we get in these moments, one of the fastest way to lose that sale is letting the ego take over. Like in reacting emotionally when a prospect talks over you. It's not that big of a deal. And most salespeople immediately interpret an interruption as disrespect. You guys start thinking, man, they're not listening to me. They're being rude. They don't respect me. I need to somehow take back control. So they begin talking louder, talking faster, competing for the conversation. Well, what's the result? The prospect becomes even more resistant. So this is what elite salespeople understand, that people rarely interrupt because of you. They actually interrupt because of what is happening inside of their own mind. And you have to realize, so when you get interrupted, it's not an obstacle, it is information. So the question isn't, how do I stop them from interrupting? The question becomes, what does this interpretation tell me about this buyer? So you need to look at it from a different lens. And the moment you learn to diagnose interruptions instead of reacting to them, you become dramatically harder to throw off during a sales conversation. So grab a pencil and paper. Let's run through this. What's written is retained. So you need to write all this down. We're going to start with lesson 1, the psychology behind why people interrupt. Every interruption is driven by psychology. Nobody randomly talks over another person. Something inside their brain is causing that behavior. Let's break down the 5 most common reasons. So number 1, we're going to do 1 through 5 right here. They feel their control is being threatened. So what does that even mean? Especially working with these business owners. Business owners value autonomy, right? They make decisions every day. They're used to leading conversations. The moment they feel someone else is directing the interaction, their brain experiences something called that, and it's not me making this up, this is what psychologists call it. They call it psychological reactance, okay? Psychological reactance. Reactance is the emotional resistance people feel when they believe their freedom is being limited. So what happens is they end up interrupting. Not because they dislike you, but because they're subconsciously reclaiming control, okay? Never fight for control. You want to give it back. Let me give you a good word track here. Hey, John, that's a great question. We can absolutely go there, but before we do, let me understand one thing first so I can give you the right recommendation. Notice what happened. You acknowledge their direction while quietly maintaining your process. They feel in control. You stay in control, right? All right, let's go to number 2. They're experiencing cognitive overload. So what does that mean? Many business owners don't interrupt because they're dominant. They interrupt because they're overwhelmed. They're thinking about what? Payroll, employees, cash flow, taxes, clients, deadlines. That's why they're on the phone with you, right? Their brain is trying to organize information as quickly as possible. This is called cognitive load theory, right? When working memory becomes overloaded, people become impatient. They finish sentences, they interrupt, and they jump ahead. So a good response is this. Hey, listen, you need to become, before I give you the response, understand this. You need to become the calmest person in the room, right? You need to slow your pace, lower your voice, and organize the chaos. Here's the word track for you. Let's slow down. Let's slow this down for a second, John, okay? There are a few different issues going on here, and I want to make sure we're solving the right one first. Well, that calm creates confidence, and that confidence creates trust. Let's go to number 3. They don't trust you yet. Trust changes communication. When trust is low, people interrupt more, question more, challenge more, because their brain is still asking, should I believe this person, right? And you have to understand, it's not personal, it's just a survival mechanism, right? Humans are wired to be cautious with uncertainty. So don't defend yourself, increase certainty through curiosity. So let me give you something good to say on the phone. Hey, John, that's completely fair. Can I ask what happened with your previous accountant? So what happens is now you've shifted from persuasion to what? Diagnosis. And we want to diagnose constantly. Number 4, they're protecting their status. I talked about this in a few of my videos, but look, successful people often interrupt because they don't want to feel inferior. If they believe you're teaching them something they should already know, their ego steps in. They interrupt to restore status. Remember, people don't just protect money, they protect their identity. Okay, so protect their competence. Never make them feel small. You should probably already know most of this. I just want you to understand how you're currently approaching it. Right? Hey, John, you probably already know most of this. I just want to understand how you're currently approaching it. It's beautiful. And that one sentence right there removes the status threat. Now they're willing to listen. All right, let's go to number 5. They're emotionally attached to the problem. Sometimes prospects interrupt because they've been carrying frustration for months or years, and they finally have someone who will listen. They don't want another presentation. They want relief, right? So let them unload. Don't interrupt emotion. Diagnose it, then organize it. All right, let's go to lesson 2. Never compete for airtime. What do I mean? I don't mean real airtime like on the radio or the TV, but one of the biggest mistakes in sales is believing the person talking controls the conversation. They don't. The person controlling the direction controls the conversation. And there's a huge difference. Average salespeople control words. Elite advisors control a minute. If someone interrupts you, never raise your voice, never speed up, never fight for the floor. The moment 2 people compete for the airtime, nobody's leading, right? All right, let's go to level 3. Let's go to lesson 3, the 5 recovery techniques. So when someone interrupts you, I'm going to go over all 5 techniques for you here, so make sure you write these down. When someone interrupts you, you need a darn process, all right? So here's mine. The technique number 1 is called the pause reset. So the second they interrupt, stop talking, immediately let them finish, then wait 1 second. That pause accomplishes 3 things. It communicates confidence, it removes conversational tension, and it signals that you're actually listening. Confident people don't rush to reclaim attention, okay? And let's go to technique number 2, the bridge. Never restart your sentence, okay? Bridge back to it. Here, let me give you some word tracks. That's actually why I brought this up. That connects perfectly to what I wanted to show you. I'm glad you mentioned that because, and bridging maintains conversational flow, right? Restarting creates friction. We don't want to do that. Let's go to technique number 3, the permission interrupt. So sometimes you need to interrupt back, not with force, with permission. So let me show you how to do it. Hey, can I jump in for 10 seconds? Can I pause you for just 1 moment? I think this answers exactly what you're asking. Permission dramatically lowers resistance because people don't mind being interrupted, but they mind feeling controlled. So we don't want to do that. All right, let's go to technique number 4, pattern break. If someone keeps interrupting, pattern break. I went over that fast. The 4th technique is pattern break. Make sure you write that down. If someone keeps interrupting, okay, you have to change the pattern. You have to lower your voice. The best thing to do is say their name, okay, and then ask a question. Hey, John, can I ask you something? Their brain immediately shifts from speaking to thinking, and questions naturally regain conversational control. So that's how you do that. It's really easy, actually. Let's go to technique number 5, the frame recovery. The goal isn't to finish your sentence. The goal is to restore your process, right? So by simply saying that's helpful. That's helpful. Now let me connect that back to why I asked. Notice you're not forcing the conversation back, you're naturally guiding it. Leadership feels smooth, not forced. So lesson 4, what never to do. These mistakes instantly reduce authority. So this is what you never want to do. Okay, this is bad. Never talk louder, okay? Volume is not confidence, it's insecurity. Never say, can you let me finish? It creates conflict. So instead, guide. Don't confront people. Never rush, all right? Salespeople often start speaking faster after being interrupted. Your pace should actually become slower. Slower communicates certainty, and faster communicates pressure. The other thing is never take it personally, okay? The interruption, and remember, like I said in the beginning of the video, it's not about you, it's what's going on inside of the prospect's mind. So detach emotionally and try to diagnose intellectually. All right, lesson 5, the CPA example. So let me give you a rundown of how all this works. The prospect would say to the CPA, I don't need all of that. I just filed my taxes. And what happens is most accountants respond, hey, okay, we can do that. Well, the lead advisors don't. What their response would be, that may be exactly what you need, but let me ask you something first. Are you looking for someone to simply prepare last year's taxes, or are you looking for someone who helps you legally keep more of what you earn going forward? Notice what happened. You didn't argue. You expanded their thinking, and the conversation moved from compliance to strategy, from filing to financial outcomes, and that's how advisory conversations begin. That's how you regain control of the conversation. Remember, it's through questions. All right, let's go to lesson 6. The advisor's mindset. So, look, doctors get interrupted, lawyers get interrupted, consultants get interrupted, great advisors, right? They expect interruptions because interruptions aren't disrespect, it's just feedback. So it's all about perspective, right? Every interruption tells you something about the prospect's emotions, their fears, priorities, their personality, even their buying style, right? The average salesperson, they hear interruptions and thinks, well, how do I get my turn to speak again? When the great salesperson thinks, what is the interruption teaching me about this client, right? So that question changes everything. So when someone talks over you, don't fight for the conversation. Just lead it, regain control back with questions. Don't compete for words, compete for understanding, right? Don't try to control the prospect. Control the frame, the pace, and the direction. It's not about talking the most, right, or giving the best presentation. It's all about making people feel heard and understood while leading them towards the right decision. So if you can do those things, you'll start closing more deals. So we'll see you in the next one.